It's a beautiful day in my record room, a wonderful day in my record room. Could you be mine? Would you be mine? It's a music-filled day in my record room. Just sit right back and listen to that bass boom. Could you be mine? Won't you be mine? I've always wanted a subscriber just like you. I've always wanted to sit and talk with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Let's sit right back, and I'd like to say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my subscriber? Could you be? Would you be? Won't you be my subscriber? Hello, subscribers.
Good Sunday morning, everyone, and welcome again to another early morning Sunday show with me, the channel that shows even a moron can figure out editing. I hope. There should have been an opening attached to this. If there isn't, I haven't figured it out, but if it is, look out, world. Here we go. Music in the background today. This is really special. He's been upstairs until I started talking. He didn't come. In the package, when I got home this week, there was a whole bunch of stuff waiting for me. As my wife kind of almost glared at me, I think. But one of them was, I received a 3 CD set. Let's see. Okay. That 3 CD set of mixtapes. In baseball, there's this, they always say, you've made it to the show. You know, when you get to the big leagues, you've made it to the show. In the vinyl community, you've made it to the show when you get DJ Trish mixtapes. I've never received DJ Trish mixtapes, so I have these. And you know, Trish, I've had these up in my office, and I've been playing them when I've been home and in my office. And this is one eclectic mix of stuff, and I really have been enjoying what you put on this thing. I've listened to them all, and I'm doing them again because it's kind of like my iPod. It's all over the place. So this is fantastic. She sent me some cool little stickers. I love the library. You know, I always went to the library. Now I just kind of buy my books. But DJ Trish, actual stickers for her and what she does. Blazing visuals, and we got that. And she sent me a nice note here, and this was addressed to Steve and Kitty. Alright, and hope you're surviving winter. I'm looking forward to spring. Enclosed you'll find 3 new CD mixes I hope you enjoy. There's jazz, funk, world music, and a few obscure oldies tossed in, and stickers. Making these mixtapes helped me keep my sanity on days that were too cold to go outside, and from going to and from work. And she gave me a picture of spring. So this is really cool, and the music is really, really good, incredibly good. So really enjoying it, Trish. Thank you very much. Russell Kurtz, if you're watching, there we go. Russ Walker, the Wild Talker, another one of his mugs he gave me. Finished a book this week, and I'll just talk real quick about it. Bill Young from the Michigan Record Club, he gave me this book to read, Clapton, and I had not read it. It's a Clapton autobiography. He really goes into his life. You know, I read the Elvis Costello autobiography, and he talked more about the music and how it all came about. Clapton's autobiography, he talks more about him, and basically how anytime anything good's happening, he finds a way to screw it up and mess it up. You know, you're patting, okay, yeah, high five, right, high five. You know, one story, real quick, was, yeah, he was obsessed with George Harrison's wife, you know, Pattie Boyd, and he was doing whatever. Finally, he got her, and once he had her, once they were together, he just screwed it up. Every time he would screw it up, whether it be the drugs, whether it be the alcohol, whatever was the case, he would mess it up. And they would break up, they would get back together. Well, then she got a boyfriend, and this guy's just going nuts now. I mean, he's gotten rid of her a million times, and now he still wants her back. So he suddenly gets this phone call, and some gal that he has no idea, and she goes, I can help you get her back. And he's intrigued. Now, he doesn't know who this person is, but he goes, all right, okay. And she tells him, just start doing crazy stuff, like take a bath with all kinds of green things and stuff, and all these other really odd things to do. But he does them because she's going to bring him back if he follows instructions. Well, one day he gets this call and says, you need to come to New York City. He goes, well, why do I need to come to New York City? I can't do that. You want her back? Well, yes. Then you need to come to New York City. And we need to meet. Oh, now, most people say, that's probably a bad idea. Not Eric Clapton. The guy's just out of it. So he goes to New York City, and he meets her. And she's just this huge, large woman. And he's just kind of taken aback by the whole thing. Ooh, but she goes, okay, we have one more step to do. He goes, what's that? You have to sleep with a virgin. And Clapton's like, oh, how am I going to find a virgin? It's New York City, for a heck. For Christ's sakes. A virgin in New York City? Huh? And she goes, I'm a virgin. Now, a sane person would say immediately, well, this is a real bad idea, and that's not going to happen. Not Clapton. Nah. All right, let's go do it. And they went and they had sex. Did he get her back? Nah. Did she start calling saying I'm pregnant? Yep. It was a hoax, and actually later on he found one of his friends was seeing this woman. So, oh my God. But, you know, he finally got his life together. He went into different rehabilitation things, and he knew how to game it. But one time he was finally just tired, and he says he dropped to his knees and prayed. And the reason why he dropped to his knees is he needed to humble himself before God, because he was not a humble man. And he says, that's what I need to do. I need to humble myself. And he prayed. And that's the last. He got better. He never drank. He never had drugs. And he said this day, he prays every morning, every day, and he always prays on his knees. So, interesting book. It was a really good read, and I really, really liked it. So, I wanted to share that. All right, let's go with some vinyl. 6 minutes in, and I haven't showed you a dang thing. Well, I did. I showed you DJ Trish's mix stuff. All right, I got this from Greg Short from his contest. So he had a contest on creating a, making your own band, and you can see it out there. My band was Clang and Come Doodle. I don't even know what I did. Also, another person who won was Bad English Rex, Mr. Finglish. And check out his channel and the video he did. It is amazing. But I did win $50 gift card to Amazon, so I used it to help get this. Now, I have Velvet Underground. I have vinyl reissues from the 80s. I have these CD box sets from the different albums. I have everything in CD, probably once, probably twice. Did I really need another Velvet Underground? Probably not. I figured, hey, this would be pretty good. So these are the Verb. I have a cat, so this is making it difficult. But it was really neat. They gave got that there. That's neat, like promotional material. More promotional material. Actual sticker. And then, I haven't listened to these yet. I mean, believe me, I have them. We have the first album. There's the second album. White Light, White Heat. Third album. I really like this album a lot. This is one of my favorites of theirs. As Candy Says, Pale Kind of Jesus. Outtakes, which I'm sure I have on every kind of CD. And then Nico's first album that was put out. So I look forward to digging into these. Again, it's a group that I'm really, really into. I really like. Steve from Flipside CT, Steve from Flipside CD, he's done a variety of series of New York City with the Velvet Underground and talking about that. And if you haven't checked it out, you should check out his channel. He does these great documentaries on that music, so well worth it. I also received, I had this come in. This is Johnny Thunders. This is So Alone. This was his solo outfit. I got this from Andrew, Tales from the Crate. He sent me this thing. And it is on cool vinyl. So Johnny Thunders, his real name is, oh, what was it? John Gonzale. John Gonzale, I believe. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong because that's part of my channel, saying everything wrong. But he was born in 1952. In high school, he had a band, and his nickname in the band was Johnny Volume. How about that? Johnny Volume. He changed Volume to Thunders later on. Always known as the lead guitarist for the New York Dolls. Once they blew up, he formed the Heartbreakers. And the Heartbreakers just, New York was not digging the Heartbreakers. So in 1977, this guy went over to England. Now it's 1977, the punk explosion. And the Heartbreakers are really popular over there, so they're having a really good time. Well, in 78, he decides to do a solo album. And this is what he came up with. And he had his big hit on here, You Can't Put Your Arms Around a Melody. I say big hit. In a punk way, it's a big hit. And it is. It's a very important punk song. He had, his backing band on here. He had Steve Cook was on there. No, Paul Cook. Paul Cook and Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols played on this. Chrissie Hynde did some backing vocals. Steve Marriott, from the Small Faces and that, he played piano, and he also did vocals on here. They say this was one drug-fueled recording session, and there's no doubt. There's no doubt it probably was. But the album starts off with Pipeline, the old surf classic Pipeline, and shows Johnny Thunders could really play some music. I mean, could play the guitar. It is just a great way to start. And then he goes into his song, You Can't Put Your Arm Around a Melody. And really, it's his embracing of heroin. It's just saying, heroin's my life. It's what I do. That became a big part of it. Well, for poor Johnny Thunders, he spent his whole life, fighting addiction and things like that, and heroin was a major part of it. Sad story with him. He did pass in 1991, but this was his solo. He kept up with Heartbreakers. They would do stuff, but just never really got anywhere. So, really excited. For those, I love early punk, the classics of punk, and this is such an important album to have, and I didn't have it. I didn't even have it in CD, and I've been looking for it. All right, another thing I went into, and I got William Tyler came out with a brand new album. Really excited to get this. So it's from 2019, and it is William Tyler Goes West. William Tyler, he was born in 1979 in Nashville. Both his parents were they wrote music. How about that? Someone writing music in Nashville. Can you believe that? Isn't that odd? In 1998, he's 19 years old, and the group Lamb Chop said, "Hey, would you like to join our band and be the organist?" And Tyler goes, "You bet, I'll join and be your organist." So he did, and was soon found out that he really did not know how to play the organ. At least not play it very well, so he switched to guitar. So he played with Lamb Chop, and he also played with Silver Jews until 2010, and he decided to go solo. And he's been solo, and he's been making instrumental music. This album here, he's moved to California. So it's kind of almost like his move to California. He was really just upset with the political climate and everything in Tennessee, Nashville, and decided, I'm moving to San Francisco. So he did. And this is all acoustical. Beautiful music. It's like, here's how I would describe it. It's like you're driving in the desert, and you're looking at this landscape going by, and it just feels nice, and it feels real peaceful. This album, he used more acoustic guitars. Now he does have, there's some organ in there, some piano, drum, there's some more electric guitar. Bill Frisell, his guitar hero, plays on this, on a song. it is just melodic and beautiful. It's folk pop rock instrumental. Absolutely loved this album. I loved it so much, but I did buy, this was an earlier album. This one came out in 2013, and it's called The Impossible Truth. He had this. This one is, it's a little darker. I mean, I felt darker textures in this. Here, when you listen to this thing, it just feels happiness. You really do. It's like a warm California sunshine coming down on you. This one felt a little bit darker, still beautiful, some more electric guitar. I also bought this EP, and it's on Exciting. Hey, vinyl douche. I got black vinyl too. It's called Lost Colony, and this came out in, I believe, 2014. This one was 2013, 2014, and it's right before he did his classic called Modern Country. So, really love William Tyler. I just think he makes wonderful music. Check him out. If you like instrumental, if you just like something to relax to, you really will not go wrong with him. More new music. Bob Mould released an album. I love Bob Mould. This is his 13th album, and look at this. Holy moly, how about that? And my record store guy pulled out his, and it was different. So the splatter's all completely different on that. And there's a nice inner sleeve on here. Lots of liner notes. And this is Bob Mould's 13th album. This came after a move to Berlin. His last two albums or CDs have been really dark. And the reason why, his parents, they died really one right after the other. Some call that really true love. You know, when you're in love, one dies, the other one dies. I had an uncle that happened that way. But they were pretty dark. So he moved to Berlin for a change of scenery. And he went back to his three-piece band. And you can find sunshine happiness in this. It is. You can feel the happiness. There's some vibe. There's some 60s psych vibe with that. Here's even some organ in this thing. Wonderful album. I really love Bob Mould ever since Ooskadoo. His work, Sugar. I felt more Sugar on here. Just the feeling of Sugar was part of this thing. It rocks, it screams, great guitars. Loved it. Hello, Jazz. Have Art Blakey here. This is a French pressing. This came out in the 1980s. Art Blakey, and it's Blue Note Volume 1, A Night at Birdland. Art Blakey, he is, shall we call him the jazz incubator? I think that's a great word for him, jazz incubator. When you think of all the young jazz musicians that got their start with Art Blakey, I think he's done more for jazz and nurturing and bringing up other jazz musicians than anybody else out there. Here's some people that started with Art Blakey. Just listen to this list. It's just some of them. Lee Morgan started with him. Freddie Hubbard, Wayne Shorter, Donald Byrd, Bradford Marsalis, Chuck Mangione, Keith Jarrett. This list goes on and on and on. People who he, gave a shot out there. He is, you could call it the Art Blakey School of Swing. That's what it's about. When Art Blakey started, he went professional when he was in 7th grade as a pianist. But he soon switched to the drums. And his drumming, he has this relentless drumming. When it begins, he just takes off and just goes. And the band has to keep up with him. He makes his band, he gets the best out of them just because they have to be so sharp to keep up with his drumming. Now, Art Blakey, he was not necessarily an innovator. When you look at it, he did not do free jazz. He did not do any of the avant-garde jazz. He did hard bop, and that's what he stayed with. But when you look at history, think of standards now. How many standards came from Art Blakey? how many standards came out of free jazz or improvisational jazz? Not much. This is what people still listen to. It hasn't aged. It sounds as fresh and as good. His 50s, his 60s, 70s. It's truly incredible music. He was the jazz incubator. Really nice stuff. And Art Blakey live music, you can't go wrong. I also picked this one up. A New Thing at Newport. It is John Coltrane, Archie Shepp. And it came on, hold on. Impulse. This was from, I believe, 1965. So when I picked this up, it said John Coltrane, Archie Shepp. I thought they were playing together. It's actually not. It's two different concerts that happened at Newport. The first song, John Coltrane does one song, he even talks on it. It's about 12, 13 minutes long, and the rest is Archie Shepp. It is more, you feel more of the avant-garde jazz and free jazz going on. I was kind of surprised. I wasn't ready quite for the saxophone squawking. I know a lot of people really like that and dig it. It's the complexity of the whole thing. Sometimes to me it becomes a little bit squawking. I don't quite follow it all the time. But it's important, and Archie Shepp and Coltrane obviously are both extremely important artists, and I like it just for that. So I did enjoy listening to it. It is not my favorite album of it because I am not a huge avant-garde jazz kind of guy. But still, the importance of it, and I did. That was great. A blues album, right? We gotta do a blues album. I almost this week, this is on Alligator. You know, I had everything lined up. I had like 10 new albums, 10 old rock albums, 10 jazz albums, 10 blue albums. I'm just going to do a theme. And I go, well, I haven't done a theme before, so why should I start now? Don't fix something that's not broken. All right, this is from Sonny Terry. And on here we have Johnny Winter, Willie Dixon, and Steve Homick. This came out in 1984. Now, Sonny Terry, you know, as you all know, Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, they were a duo forever. You know, Terry was born in 1911. By age 16, two different accidents, he went blind. Well, he decided, I guess I'm not going to be a farmer, so he became a bluesman and hooked up with Brownie McGee. And for decades, they toured together, but finally they had a divorce, shall we say. They just got tired of each other and pissed. So on this album, he hooks up with, you know, really with Johnny Winters, who brings in, you know, Willie Dixon. Look at Johnny Winters. He just looks kind of freaking scary in this one. Great album. It's a rambunctious, kind of sloppy almost album. It's blues the way it should be. Johnny Winters' guitar sounds incredible. The only problem I thought is Sonny Terry's harmonica. It's not really amplified, so it gets overshadowed by the guitar. It's still a fun listen. If you like the blues, it's not that expensive. Good stuff to have. I had this one, Dancing in the Moonlight by King Harvest. King Harvest, they started in France. It's a French-American band. Started around 1971. And it is on the Perception label. I've never seen that one. So these guys formed then, you know, again, they're in Paris. The guy who came up with the hit song Dancing in the Moonlight, he was at a party and he went out and it was a beautiful moonlight night. He looked at the water, the moon was reflecting on the water, his girlfriend was there, at least I think it was his girlfriend, and they decided, let's make love in the moonlight. And they did, and that helped him make a song. Well, they released, and actually the song, he wrote it, and the guy, he was a keyboardist. This group had 3 keyboardists at one time. 3. How many keys do you need? I don't know. I guess they thought 3. The guy's name was Sherman Kelly, I believe. Sherman Kelly. And he wrote it for, he was in a group called Bafalongo. Bafalongo. I don't know how you come up with that. Again, it must be drugs. Beats me. But he brought it to this group, and they released it as 45 in Paris. It sunk. They then reissued it in the United States. It took off and went to number 13. I love this song. It's been on so many soundtracks, so many TV shows. Dancing in the Moonlight by King Harvest. Real favorite. Final 2 albums. Got a couple of animals. Okay. Animalization, which I believe was called in England they called it, and in England they called it Animalizer. In the U.S. they called it Animalization, and then Best of Animals. Both of these came out in 1966. You know, the Animals started in 64. They were part of the British invasion. Definitely a blues rock kind of band that came over here. Yeah, the Animals, they had a friend. Eric Burden said they had a friend, and his name was Animal Hogg, H-O-G-G, Animal Hogg. And that's why they said that's where the name Animals came from. Some say it's because they were like animals on stage. He goes, no. It was from a buddy. It's our tribute to him. So these came out in 66, and that's when Animals blew up for the first time. Started in 64, the first time they blew up, 66. Since then, the Animals have reformed like 1 billion times. It's like every couple of years, hey, new animals. But it was never quite the same. Actually, the second incarnation did have a number of hits on here. But this one does have House of the Rising Sun. You got Boom Boom, Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, I Love You, I'm in Love Again. It was nice stuff. A little bit scratchy. I'd like to get eventually better copies, better vinyl. But I didn't have any Animals on vinyl, so it was fun to have that. All right, here we have it. We piled through those, but I know I'm a little bit longer because of my opening introduction. So, Russ Walker the Talker. Thank you for tuning in. Last week I complained and says, oh my God, my subscriptions counts was at 667. I was so happy because I got off 666. Right after I did my video, someone unsubscribed me, and I dropped to 666 for like 5-6 hours. Boy, that gets kind of freaky on there. It's like, oh, mark of the devil, I am doomed. I'm much better now, and so thank you for the new people for subscribing and getting me off that. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed Trish's background music. It's really awesome. Thanks everyone for being a part of this show, and hope this introduction worked, okay? Have a great week, everybody.